I just had to do that for you, buddy.
I appreciate it.
Welcome to the Chanarant Podcast, everybody. This is a special edition of the Chanarant Podcast because Josh isn't here, and I had to come up with some way to do something. So, in true Chanarant fashion, I panicked and invited one of our friends to come on the show and do a little thing. So, our special guest today, if you didn't hear him in the background, old McGruffin himself, the one and only, Mr. Sean Cahill.
That's right. What's up, man?
How's it going, buddy?
Super.
So I thought we'd do a little, I thought we'd try to copy Andrew Douglas, because, you know, and do like one of his style interview type things, you know? Only, if we did that, we might fall asleep in the middle of it. So, so we're going to shorten it by a lot, I hope.
Okay, good. I don't have that much interesting stuff to talk about, so...
No. You're a boring motherfucker, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, as far as things go, I mean...
Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, this is a explicit podcast. I just said motherfucker, but that's okay. So to give you a little bit of warning here, we do say a lot of terrible shit, and Cahill will probably talk about penis a lot. He tends to.
As much as possible.
Yeah. He is a fireman after all. So, so we definitely want to warn you about that. Cahill, go ahead and say fuck for us. Get it out of the way.
Your language is offensive, sir.
So just a couple quick things to get it out of the way. You can review the show on iTunes and Stitcher and, I don't know, Google Play. What do you listen to this show on, Cahill?
Podcast deal, whatever it is on iTunes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something funny like, I don't listen to this show.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's more accurate.
But you can also send in emails, voicemails to be played on the air, which I have none this week. Again, I have no setup here whatsoever. We're basically recording on my computer. And but yeah, you send in email to chanarant@gmail.com. If you want to do a voicemail, just record your voice app on your phone and send it to us. You don't need to call a number. What do you think this is? Radio?
Yeah, this is not a legit program.
No, so not even close. I don't know what makes something legit. Like, we technically have an advertiser, so does that make it legit? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that does. You have to be careful about making it too legit as well.
Oh, yeah. We're definitely
then dancing. You can't quit at all. So.
Right. Oh, I think about that every day, buddy. If you make it too legit, one, you have to show up more consistently, and and then you potentially they can tell you what to do and say and stuff a little bit, or they can influence you.
Yeah, the influence for sure.
Yeah. So Cahill, have you seen your Cahill's Corner shirt at chanarant.com by chance?
I did. I figured that you guys would just send me one and not be the penny pinching SOBs that you are and try to charge me for it. But apparently, I'm just going to have to order it.
Dude, tell you what, I will send you one for doing this thing with me and helping me out.
I feel special.
But if you haven't seen it, go to the chanarant.com store and you can see Cahill's shirt, and then there's some new one that I don't remember what it is. It's like fuck off or something like that. I don't know.
Seems appropriate.
And then of course you can become a patron at patreon.com/chanarant. Help support the show, and two douchebags saying fuck on the radio. So, I mean, and now a third one now that we have Cahill here. So. And especially
stand-in douchebag for the weekend.
Exactly. So most importantly, invite your friends to listen to the show, but definitely warn them ahead of time. That's all the nonsense we had to get out of the way. So, Cahill.
Yeah, man.
This episode is going to be affectionately titled "The Story of Us."
That's so cute.
Isn't it, though?
Yeah.
I came up with that about 10 seconds ago.
All right. Well, that's when the most good ideas happen.
Absolutely. When you absolutely need it, like last second, right?
Last second.
That reminds me, did you see the meme going around the internet yesterday about Thomas Jefferson? Or no, it was Wednesday, excuse me. and it was like it said like it had a picture of Thomas Jefferson and it said July 3rd, and it says like, oh shit, that's due tomorrow.
The story of my life, right there.
The story of most of our lives, I assume. And most people in pipe bands, I would bet, like it's a story of like Josh when we were in Ireland, like learning the music while we're at band practice.
Like, dude, I'll get that tomorrow.
Yeah. I'll get that. Don't worry about it. I don't need to do it ahead of time.
Yeah, no, that's crazy talk. Crazy talk. No, the only memes I keep seeing floating around is the what is all these ones with the Air Force or the
those are great too. Oh my god.
Oh Jesus, yeah, George Washington stuck or the Battle of the Baggage Claim and all this.
They're so good. This thing that's amazing about what's happening right now, what that latest gaffe he said, is that like it's Republicans and Democrats alike. Like everybody is. Like,
everybody's jumping on that because it's freaking hilarious.
It is so funny. Yeah,
the memes are incredible.
The one I like the best is the one of George Washington with like sunglasses on. It's like, how come you didn't see him or whatever? Is like, or how come they didn't see you or whatever? And he's like, because I was inverted, and it's got that whole Top Gun.
The Top Gun one.
Have you seen it? It is so funny.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome.
The internet's great. Which reminds me, some of our what do you call it? Like regular listeners to the show are friggin' hilarious, man. Some of them come up with the most amazing shit, like the memes they come up with, and then of course
they are true artists. I'm gonna just go on record as saying some of the stuff. I did see something from Brad for you with all the alphanumeric text messages that you used to do. Did you spell it out on there?
Yeah, I had to go translate it. Do you know what it is?
Oh, I'm aware.
Oh, okay.
I got about 2 words into it, and I'm like, I know where this is going.
Yeah, he calls me a C word, ladies and gentlemen, which is typical for Brad. But
I mean, he means it in the best possible way.
Yeah, he means it,
or not.
I think he means it. I think he means it in like the British American way, not the Australian way.
Affectionately.
Yeah. So did you hear about that whole nonsense? By the way, the whole trouble we got ourselves into with Stephen McWhirter.
Oh, I just heard grumblings, and I'm like, well, if anybody can do it, one of the nicest people in pipe bands, it would be you.
If anybody could offend
Josh. Yeah, if anybody can offend, not just the nicest guy, but like a legend in the pipe band world.
Yeah, we did a great job.
It's got to be you and Josh, yeah. So, I mean, surprised by this? No, not in the least bit.
I like to think we made up for it, I hope. Go take a listen to last week's episode.
Last week's episode is the apology episode?
That's the apology episode, yeah. It was very good, very good. We did a good job, except for, again, the intelligence and comedy of our listeners was just amazing. So they didn't help us at all, I don't think. But
well, probably not. No. Probably not. But,
so anyway,
what are friends for? So.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of that, you and I have been busting each other's balls for what? 17 years?
16, 17 years now, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, which goes to show how intelligent I am that I haven't tried to abort this relationship at some point.
Ho. You just used the terrible word abort. You can't say that.
You can say abort. It's when you add the or shun to it that people get a little uptight. So.
That's when it gets offensive, when you add shun?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. So we're going to stay away from shun.
Schmortion.
Exactly. So how did we meet?
Through one of our mutual good pals, Pileski, at the Carlsbad piping school there in scenic, beautiful Carlsbad, California.
Yeah, right on the beach there, right?
Right on the beach, yeah.
What year was that?
Army, Navy, Academy deal, yeah.
2003 or so?
3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think I had about a year into learning, and this was Fusco pre-beard, so he was a lot, he was a lot less of an asshole, really. I don't know what happened to him in these 17 years, but there's some bad things went on for Andy, so we really can't blame him. We got to know what the background is to what soured him, other than I think maybe the beard kind of has its own personality, and then Andy just kind of follows along with that. So.
It definitely does. It's its own thing, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to be a nice guy back then. People still liked me.
People liked you. You had nice things to say.
I still had hope back then. I was still like a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, like Piper, like thinking this stuff was so much fun.
Hadn't been beaten down by the piping world at that point yet. Is that what we're to believe? Yeah,
it was still exciting. I still enjoyed playing Amazing Grace at the time, and I liked listening to like rock bands with bagpipes or whatever.
Right.
Until I became a traditionalist C-word.
I understand. I fall into that same camp. Well, I believe there is room for everybody. It's just not my cup of tea, as it were. So
yeah. So we met at that school. We were about the same place. I was probably 2 years in, maybe at the time or so. And what the hell did we? I bet we learned banjo breakdown back then. That's probably.
Oh, dude, I don't remember what. There was a whole. Who was our instructor? Was it Jimmy Young?
I believe it was Jimmy Young. Yeah, I was going to say
Jimmy Young. Yeah.
Previous to him passing away, nice guy, very, 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 very old.
He was very old and a bit old school in his teaching. I remember I tried to help one of the other students, and he yelled at me for it.
Really? It's like, there's only one way.
Yeah, I was so embarrassed. I'm like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. I'm so sorry. Like, I'm way too new to say anything to anybody. So.
Right, exactly. He's like, there could only be one.
Exactly. But nonetheless, good instructor. I learned a lot. I mean, in that first year, I think that school is where I learned how to sight read music, because up until then, I think I'd been writing the letters under each note.
Oh,
still.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Jeez, dude, I didn't know you were one of those.
Oh yeah, it's the start when I got sick of doing it. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to learn how to do this here, because it's really annoying to have to do all that. So you weren't a musical person? You never played an instrument before bagpipes back then? Nope. Never had any kind of music lessons in school. When I was in school, band was still kind of it was still very 80s and 80s movie-esque, where it was jocks and nerds and in between. So I did play some sports, so I wound up falling into the jock camp.
So you were beating up the band geeks?
No, nothing like that. It was just one of the, football and wrestling and stuff was always, that took up enough time. There was no time to try to be in a band or be a band guy.
Ooh, wrestling.
Wrestling, yeah.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, I figured you'd like it. I figured you probably did your share of wrestling outside of school.
Oh, boy, did I. I think you've heard those stories. Dirtbag Olympics number 2 or something.
Yeah, so you got that going for you.
Yeah, so then what got you into pipe bands? What made you decide, I'm going to learn this god-awful instrument and torture myself for the rest of time?
So one of the funny thing about all this is I actually lived in upstate New York in like 5th and 6th grade, so early 80s.
Really? Well, let's see. How much older are you than me, right? I'm 43. How old are you?
No, 46.
Okay, so interesting. Okay, so I didn't move back to New York until I think 86, because I lived in Massachusetts for a little while. So I might have just missed you, but where in upstate New York were you?
I lived in Clifton Park, which was in the Albany, Schenectady, Troy area there.
Oh my God, yeah. When I was a little kid, we lived in Malta. I don't know if you remember that, which is really close to pretty close to Clifton Park.
Yeah, and it was I had fun. I had a good time. I mean, we moved around a lot when I was a kid, but I definitely enjoyed living there. But we had... my grandfather went to the UK and he came back. He brought actual records. I know. I've heard of a lot here.
I've heard of such things.
Yeah, he brought these discs back, if you will. It's with music on them. They were incredible, and so I was hooked on bagpipes from that age. First time hearing them, and I loved them. But honestly, there was no interwebs, so it was short of maybe catching a band in a parade, which we did not go to parades because my father hated parades. So, everybody says you love a parade, but not him. No, he was not a fan of the parade scene.
He probably had to march in a parade as a kid. He's like, fuck that
something,
shit.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that anymore.
Bullshit, yeah. So we never actually went to any parades. But I I thought you had to live in Scotland basically to learn the bagpipes. Thought it was just, that was the only exposure to the music that I had was from overseas. So I'm like, well, I guess if you're American, you're fucked. You don't get to learn. So it wasn't until 20-something years later when I was on the fire department, we had a member that passed away from cancer, and we were at his funeral, and we had a local fire department band came and played, and I'm like, me and a few other guys were like, dude, we got to do that, and the rest is history. So, as it were. So, I mean, I did the typical fireman thing. I got the pipes. We had instruction, so we started with an instructor. Mostly because I don't think YouTube was really even a thing at that point. And
was it?
Got
who was
a few tunes down. A local guy named Michael McClanathan.
Oh, okay. He's I know him. He's from he's the long-haired guy that runs Arizona games, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, yeah, cool.
So he started us out with a group of guys from the area, all firefighters, with a big group lesson. I think I stayed there for maybe half a year and 8 months, and then finally went to Len.
Oh, okay.
And then been going to Len, on and off for the rest of the time, 15 years or so now. And I dug it right from the start, obviously, but as typical service band guys do, is I got Amazing Grace and maybe a couple other tunes on the pipes. Where I could play through them, and they didn't sound like hot garbage, but they were definitely not what I would consider a good standard either.
Would you describe them as more like cold garbage? Or
yeah, definitely like fresh trash, not like old stinky hot garbage. So, and so then of course at work, and you get work commitments, family commitments, and tests, and different schools, and things kind of get put on hold, and you just put them away. And then every time there's something you got to do, a funeral or some kind of memorial or something, you brush the pipes off and get them out and wonder why you sound like garbage every time you strike in. And you're like, man, these things sound like crap. I hate these things. And then instead of actually figuring out what the problem is, you put them back away and let them collect some more dust till the next time comes around. So that cycle goes on for a while until you either go, I'm just not going to do this anymore, or I'm going to reach out and get some lessons and try to actually go somewhere with this and improve my playing, at least to the best of my ability. And that obviously goes with instruction and practice. Weird.
Yeah.
I know.
How about that?
I know. Like, if you practice, you actually tend to get a little bit better. It's a bizarre concept, but apparently there's some validity to it.
That method you described. You ever heard of the Joe Brady method? Have we?
I want to refresh me on the Joe Brady method.
Joe Brady has this basic way of incorporating people into his pipe band when they're first learning, and essentially it's when they get the pipes, they start with one drone and just blow. He makes them blow one drone for a week and works trying to be steady with it, and then two drones, and then he has the drones, but he also adds marching into it at this point. So he has them. Maybe he'll play along with them or set a metronome and then make them march with just playing drones, and this goes on for weeks until they can do it. So the concept is most people are in a big hurry to get to playing something with the chanter and stuff, and then they just fuck it up forever now. So he's very specific. But the reason I bring that up is the thing you described we know affectionately as the firefighter method, which is
I won't take offense to that.
I have and you've done it.
Seeing what you're doing. Well, I had instruction from the start. So when I did start playing, I did start with one drone. Marching kind of came down the road, and that was something when I went to Len, because he was running the Phoenix pipe band at the time, so he kind of taught us how to march and time and all that. And so I didn't just go full, never went full fireman method.
Never go full fireman.
Never go full fireman. But I had some decent instructors from the start, and I think that's obviously kind of one of the key elements. Like if you just, especially now because you can find so much stuff online, and obviously, just like anything else, there's really good stuff online and there's some not so good stuff online. So it depends which route you wind up going with it. But so I was fortunate enough to have some guys that knew what they were doing get us going. Now, whether I practiced what they told me to the letter or I just did what I wanted to, maybe two different things, but
right.
You know, that they definitely gave me the good foundation with that stuff.
Yeah. So you ended up we met obviously at a piping school, and so you went to a piping school pretty early on.
So I went to a couple pretty early on. I went to, and it was another guy that I worked with that was in our initial band that he searched him out, found him somehow, and it might have even been on the internet that he found him because I think the dial-up was in full swing at around that time, and one of them was what was at the time called the Mastery of Scottish Arts School up in Washington.
Oh, is that same one that is it? The CTAC one?
That's the CBEC one, the winter school now. So that's the CAF winter school now, which is they got every instructor you could want to go get a lesson from is there. They're all these top flight names, like the rock stars of the bagpipe world. So, I mean, Stuart Little, Bruce Gandy, Jack Lee, Roddy McLeod, Willie McCallum, Alan Beaumont, all of them.
Oh, good. You said Cahill and Fooko. I was going to say, this sounds like the Eagles of rock stars. Like, they're all like 60 years plus.
There's a youngster in there.
Yeah, Callum's there. Okay, we're okay. Good.
Yeah, they did that to bring down the age average. That's probably what they did. But, I mean, yeah, they're like superstars, right? So I went to that one, and at that time it's run by a different guy now. So basically the same school, but a different guy kind of took over and brought it to where it is today, which is Sky Reichendorfer from Washington. And if you've heard the jig Sky, that's who it's written after. That's the guy that it's called. So,
I didn't know that. Okay. Is that his name? Sky?
Sky, yes.
Oh, okay.
And so, I mean, this school is top notch. It's crazy good, fun time.
Yeah.
But learn a lot. But the precursor to it was the same group, basically, of instructors. So Jack was there. This is in 2003, maybe even, and Eric was at that school. But it was
Eric was at every school.
Alistair Gillies was at this one. Let's see, John Wilson, Mike Cusack. I mean, like the same names, Bruce, Jack, all those guys. Roddy, Willie. You're like. I mean, I'm young into it at that time, and I'm like, I suck. I need to go somewhere else. So,
I'm in the wrong place.
But
excuse me.
I did enjoy the instruction and realized that it could be fun,
Sure.
And I think that kind of hits early on too. If you get it to be a bit fun, guys will continue doing it. Versus if it's like a job and you dread picking the pipes up every time you got to go practice or go to a lesson or something, it's probably not as fun. So,
speaking of not fun, competition piping.
Yeah.
Are you a competition piper?
So I have competed over the years. I have not for the last couple of years as far as solos go. And then I play with the grade 3 Phoenix pipe band right now in a band. So yes.
Let's get your hard take. I heard you got some interesting opinions on this subject, but
who did you hear this from?
Competition piping. Cahill was quoted as saying that competition piping hurts the instrument. Cahill, comment.
My comment would be, I don't know what Cahill said that, but it wasn't this one.
It wasn't Sean Cahill.
You sure it wasn't the Aussie broad that was subbing in for me on the corn?
I don't know. I'm just trying to stir up some controversy.
I see what you're doing, but I'm not falling for it. So the answer to that would be never said that. That's fake news, and I don't like it. So.
No, but that brings up a topic, right? I mean, like
I think competition solo competition piping, I'll watch it all day long. Like I sit and watch the Glenfiddich and everything that's live streamed, everything I can get my hands on, and but getting out and doing it is a whole nother ball game, and I suffer from some of the worst performance anxiety, and I think you know that. And I'm trying. I tried different stuff to work through it. I get through sometimes, and sometimes I don't do so well, but I'm not going to quit. So
you, how do you? Let's see. Let me take a step back here. So, we know that basically, generally, service band people tend to not compete. I mean, there's obviously lots of exceptions to that, but do you try to what's the word I'm looking for? Like promote the benefits of competition to the organizations that you deal with?
Yeah, absolutely, and so even the new guys through the fire service, we always kind of put it out there as something they should think about. But I'm not, you force people to do things, they're not going to like it, so they kind of have to come to that decision on their own. We've got some younger guys that are competing and doing well and giving it a try, even if it's not going the best. They realize they can, make strides with their playing, and it's kind of the purest form of getting some instant feedback from somebody that knows what they're listening for,
Yeah, for sure. So you, how many years ago now? You started something called I don't know if you were alone in this, but you could tell us a little bit about the history of it. But the Arizona Fire Service Pipe Band. This didn't exist when you started, obviously, right? So.
Correct. So I think it was me and a guy named Gary Johnstone that started it, and this was in 2013. Prior to that, we, like all the groups in the area, would get together for big. So when I say groups, I'm talking almost. There's at the time maybe a handful of fire departments had pipes and drums, and when I say pipes and drums, I mean they had like 2 pipes, maybe a side drum and a bass player.
Right.
Because every fire department has a bass drum. Right?
Or 6.
Yeah. So we would get together and play, and what we noticed was people were playing different settings of the same tunes, and tuning. There was some tuning challenges and things like that as well. So we had a very large event take place here in 2013 as well, which was the loss of 19 hotshots up in Prescott, which is about an hour north of the valley, hour and a half north of the valley here. Mm-hmm. And we had a very large turnout for that, for the memorial service for that, and then for all the funerals that followed. And through that, me and Gary had got together and said, hey, we really need to do something about this to try and make things a little bit more uniform, and what can we do here? Mm-hmm. And it's very tricky with firemen, because I say this all the time, it's just that sensitive fireman thing, like egos, eat brains, and so you have to be very careful about trying to tell guys what to do, because they don't like that, So, and I don't know too many people that do, anyways. But so, and this thing started out with, we started doing some lessons and opened it up to anybody, any fire department in the valley that wanted to come. At one of the stations, and Len was teaching there as well. And mm-hmm. through that, we were able to make some connections with some other guys from other cities, and they were running their groups. And so we basically got everybody together, and finally somebody said, we just need to standardize this and make it one big deal. And so I think in late 2013, we had a meeting and kind of formalized that we would do this, and now we're a 501c3 and a kind of a parent group. But what we do, we don't tell anybody they have to do anything. We don't tell them how to do their business. We just support the groups, and we support them through educational opportunities, whether it's scholarships to go to these piping schools, or every once a year we have a a 2-day workshop that we bring in some instructors for.
Yeah.
And we keep the price on that pretty low for the guys so that they can get in and get some good instruction, learn a couple tunes, and go back and kind of pass that along.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. So
segue into that. Yeah. So
you guys created your own sort of piping school almost.
Yeah. For lack of better words or terms for it, yeah, I would call it a piping school at this point. It's piping and drumming school.
Right. Yeah.
With that, another note for the way the fire service band works is that what we did notice is every city was trying to stand up a band. At one point, it became kind of the thing to do, and they would get a handful of guys, but then that's all they'd have. So for events, they'd have maybe 2 pipes and a drum or whatever. So we just said, what if we can supply numbers? You're still the band. It's going to be your deal. You'll be out front doing your thing, and we'll just support it. So it's kind of like a mutual aid, automatic aid system for the pipes and drums in the state.
Right.
And then, fortunately, most of the guys like the idea, and they're on board with it, and we were able to standardize tune settings, so everybody's playing the same settings of tunes, same kind of sets that everybody plays. So when we get together, we can play more than just the mass band stuff,
More than Balmoral?
More than Balmoral, yeah. Which, I love the tune, but yeah, we played that for a number of years, because that's all everybody played, Fast forward into the school, I think we actually did start this even the first year, and it was just local guys that did it.
Right.
And that spun into, through the winter school, the CAF winter school, we made contacts with Brian Donaldson, and obviously Bruce Gandy's been one of my teachers. I take Skype lessons, or have on and off for the last several years with Bruce. So what I noticed was Brian had that military bearing, having been in the British military for that long and being a pipe major. Mm-hmm. He kind of got the same mentality that we need, which is he's great when we're not lined up, and he'll joke with you and have a smile, but as soon as you're in a formation, it's time to lock it up, and he'll chew you out if you're not behaving, which is great. I like to see him do it. You got to actually witness it.
I've heard somebody was just recently telling me about him and something he said to somebody once, and I thought it was friggin' hilarious.
Oh, it's great stuff.
When I
should write it down. I should write it down when he's saying this stuff.
You really should. This would be like quotes.
Yeah.
We'll do like a Jack Handy kind of a thing on the show.
Inspirational quote. But as soon as you're done, he's just Brian hanging out. When you're lined up, he's the pipe major, and you better listen to what he's telling you. So, and that structure works well with the fire department. Probably would work well with all service bands, because it's a fire department, police, paramilitary organizations. There is a chain of command and a structure that way. So guys just respond well to it, and he does a great job with it. But so he started coming out to the school 3-4 years ago, possibly. This might be his 5th year.
And
I'm
your
terrible
guys,
with
like
dates too, so don't quote me on these dates. The guys love him. The guys absolutely love him. Yeah, he is one of the main draws to get people in here, because they enjoy working with him.
Oh, cool.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I would think they would resist somebody. I mean, other than he brings the respect of being in the military and stuff, but. Firemen, police especially, hate a quote-unquote civilian telling him what to do. And he's former military, obviously, but so maybe that changes
and I
things.
think
he's so harsh, though. I've heard it. He's so insanely harsh.
Harsh is that's not a fair word. Because it's not harsh, because if you're and so fire service wise, we are a lot looser paramilitary than police, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
So, quite frankly, most of us have a hard time staying locked up and not kind of cracking smiles or jokes when we get the chance.
Right.
So, if he's tearing into somebody, it's the hardest thing to do is just to not laugh. right at the person that he's messing with, and because that's like it's almost fire station behavior anyway. Is like it's the if you find a weakness or you find something, drop a blood in the shark tank kind of thing, and it meshes really well with everybody there. So that's why I think he's been successful, is because number one, he's got the resume.
Yeah.
And then secondly, the guys enjoy, obviously with the thick Scottish accent, and getting yelled at, it's not as bad as if I was sitting there yelling at you for the same thing. You know?
Right.
You know what I mean? So
they can't really understand what he's saying anyway.
They're not understanding half of it, and the other half is so funny. They're trying not to laugh like as they're getting chewed out. But the point is getting across too. So while it might be funny and it might be you get a joke out of it or whatever, like somebody's going, oh yeah, we shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do this or I shouldn't do that. So, and then obviously he's not just putting you in a formation and yelling at you all day long. He's teaching as well. So the guys do really well with it. So we've done that with him for the last several years, and we've added some instructors along the ways. We had some local guys come in and help. Will Thayer from the Phoenix band, Jim Ryan before he moved back
to Maryland.
And they all fit in real well, and the guys like them. They have, their styles work for what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, you guys have definitely grown. I've noticed that. I've kept an eye on it over the years, mostly just in posters that you guys post when you're advertising it. But it's like you keep adding teachers, so that must be getting bigger. If you're
right. So we added another instructor a couple years back, which was Donald McBride, and the guys love him because he's just fun. And he's a good teacher. And so this year, unfortunately, Donald won't be able to make it for personal reasons, and we'll keep him on the books. If he's ready to come back, we'll bring him back.
When is your school this year?
First weekend of August. So we finally got to a point where we were kind of jumping around in the summertime because we're trying to offset events and
sure, yeah, it's the hard part.
Yeah, so
planning anything.
Yeah, trying to not step on any toes of any other schools or Highland games that are going on in the area. So we just decided to do first weekend of August every year is what kind of works for us. So Donald will be coming, and then we have a mutual friend of ours has a connection with Glenn Brown, and Glenn has volunteered his service to come out and help us out. Obviously,
cool.
Bring him out and take him to a baseball game and stuff like that, but he's basically doing it for free. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So when you get that kind of talent, to come out and help out like that, it's really cool, and I think the guys will have a good time with him too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we'll have Glenn and Brian will be the kind of lead instructors, and then we have a couple other instructors, a guy named Bill Horn from New Mexico, and then Will Thayer will be back again this year. So
yeah, it sounds like you guys are doing some good stuff over there. That's a good example of how to get it done. I think you got to start somewhere. You kind of threw something together and it grew, but getting the right people in the right place to do things, I think it's really important. You find the right personality for the people you're dealing with.
That's absolutely key to that is you surround yourself with people that are as motivated to see something be successful.
Yeah.
And it kind of just works. We got a guy from Mesa named Sean Johnson that's just all about it, does a bunch of stuff. Chris Broadley from Chandler. Matt Cotini is our drum sergeant for the band, and he runs all the drumming stuff. And he's huge. He's huge into this workshop. Like, this workshop is what it is now because he's put so much time and effort into this.
Oh, that's great. You got to find the right personality and the right sucker to take on.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And Cahill is your sucker, people, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. Yeah, I have a hard time saying no. Apparently, is what
obviously
I think what it boils down to.
Yeah.
But
we tried to do.
It's a part of it is passing. Like I just have a downright love for pipes and drums. Like, there's no getting around it. Like, I'm a nerd about it, and I don't care. It's what I like. I'll listen to the music all the time. It's playing on my in my car, if I'm driving around, I'm listening to Pipeline broadcasts and all that stuff. And
Chanarant, of course.
Chanarant, no, never that one. Don't try to sneak that into the mix of good stuff. Yeah.
Come on, man, help me out.
So my intention on that was always just to try and pass on that love of the music. It's not just about getting a uniform and playing Amazing Grace, and that's service band kind of. I would tell you that the majority of service band members heard Amazing Grace played at a service, whether it was a memorial or a funeral, and that's what got them hooked. And they're going, well, I want to do that, right? Mm-hmm. So that's their intro to it. The trick is to expand that into like, hey, check this out. I know you like that tune, and you'll learn it. And hopefully, you don't get too sick of playing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you definitely
really
will.
Got sick of playing it because of what we play it for. So
sure. Yeah.
But there's so much more. There's so much more music that there's out there that.
So it doesn't grate on your nerves like, say, Rakes and Mallow.
No, yeah. We all know that. And here's the best part about Rakes is the guys in the band know. I have not made it secret that that's probably like the nails on a chalkboard tune for me.
Right.
And they know, so they play it.
Oh yeah,
all the time, just because they know I don't like it. So that's
this is that fireman weakness.
Do yeah,
absolutely. They know the weakness.
Drop of blood in the shark tank. They're like, hey, Rakes, let's play Rakes. Yeah, everywhere we go, it could be a funeral. They'll be like, let's play Rakes. I'm like, oh God, we should shut up.
Yeah, no, I get the same thing. People like to play the tunes I hate all the time. I keep hearing Cullen Bay everywhere I go. Like somebody will like strike up and play it, and I'm like, God damn it!
Who is doing that?
Or Daryl was in town once, and I think he got it confused. But I hate this one too. But what's this one? Da 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 da. Scotch on the Rocks.
Oh,
I also hate that fucking tune. So he started playing that one. It's such a terrible tune. And but I think he thought. I mean, I never mentioned it, but he started playing that. I'm like, dude, why are you playing that? He's like, because you hate it, right? I'm like, well, yeah, but that's not Cullen Bay.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I thought he was trying to, but maybe because I used to play in a band back with Daryl way back, and maybe he remembered it from back then because I hated it back then too. I don't know, but
that's freaking funny, dude. Yeah, and that's typical, and that's. I don't know where the love of Rakes came in for these guys, and I don't know that anybody outside of the fire service would even be able to tell you what the tune is.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But yeah, it's like the same notes over and over and over.
I suspect it's just because the drummers get to go nuts, so they feel like rock stars and they get to dance around like monkeys or something. But it's also like I think you hate this movie, but it's the Notre Dame band plays it in like Rudy.
Okay, that's where it came. Now, never mind. The mystery has been solved.
So I would bet
away with it too. Yeah,
I would bet it has something to do with that.
I would bet. I would bet.
So. But yeah, we try to do something similar here. Obviously, bringing Jack Lee out a bunch of times. Well, Jesus, I can't even tell you how many times we've had him out in the last year. Trying to get the right person to motivate the people, blah, 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 that whole thing. Sort of similar to what you guys, did with your school in Arizona. But that brings me to sort of something you also do on the side of one of your many jobs is you're WSPBA representative, correct?
Yeah, so I am actually the president of the desert branch of the Western United States Pipe Band Association.
Oh, Mr. President, I didn't realize you're my president.
So that's how you've been talking to me this whole time. And,
I forgot. I did not realize you were my president.
I tell you that. Yeah, and that's those spots are very similar to. Maybe not at the the executive level of the WSPBA, but like the branch level, I have a sneaky suspicion goes something like, "Hey man, who wants to be president? Oh hey Cahill, will you do that? All right, fine. If you need somebody, if there's somebody, okay, Cahill's the president." That's kind of how it goes.
That's exactly how it goes in our band. Like getting a board together. It's like, is anybody willing to do this? Okay, we'll vote you in.
Right. So they got voted. You get voted in. It becomes official and everything, and then once you're in, it's really hard to get out.
It's really hard to get out. Yeah.
But fortunately, like I've been able to get to know Kevin Conquest through this stuff, and honestly, he's a solid individual, and I really enjoy working with him on stuff, and been helpful and very understanding and patient individual for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But so one thing I wanted to bring up about, because we always, obviously, the Chanarana is known for shitting on associations, but I wanted to bring up something positive you guys are doing, and it relates to Jack Lee. So at least the Desert Branch. I'm sure other branches are doing other things. I don't know, really, but because I talk to you, so I know what you do. I don't talk to those other idiots. So just
I take no credit for this idea or any of it. So basically, an idea got thrown out to do some kind of an educational piece, put on a workshop. I mean, we get a very, very small budget to work with. So we've had to kind of beg, borrow, and steal some more money to get folks out here. But doing a workshop with Jack, I believe, is coming up in October. And if I was better prepared, I would have had the date for you to give it a little free.
It's October 5th.
Okay. So
or that weekend of October.
That weekend, yeah. So, anyways, and then that's actually Teresa Black, who is the new vice president of the WSPA Desert Branch as well, is kind of spearheading that. Yeah, and
so they used to do this thing. It's been a couple of years, but they did this thing called Game of Drones a few years ago, and we went out to that.
Yeah, Glendale Pipes and Drums in Glendale, Arizona.
But she's sort of tying it into that a little bit, where she's having Jack Lee out to teach all the bands in the Desert Branch, if assuming they want to come and do a workshop with them or whatever, or this whole big thing, and then tie it into this concept, which used to be called Game of Drones. I don't know if they're keeping the same name or whatever, but so the bands come out and play. Jack will be maybe a judge and with some other people, and it's essentially do whatever you want, have fun with it. It's not a serious competition, but
it is not. Yeah, not serious. It's meant to be fun, and I believe it was a fundraiser for their band initially, and I think that they don't necessarily. They've got some other sources of fundraising, so they don't necessarily need to do that for their band, but they still wanted to do it because it was fun. They had a good time with it, and it's very, very low key, relaxed, and you go up and play some tunes, and and it's usually at a outdoor bar
or something.
And so have some drinks and hang. It's fellowship with other pipers and drummers, and then play some tunes and have a good time with it. And it's
great chance to meet other bands, like especially if you're sort of in your own world, like we are out in Las Vegas. Like we're not around a bunch of other people. It's pretty cool to go and socialize with everybody and other bands that you.
Social time without the pressure of the social time at the beer tent, at the games, or whatever. When you got another contest the next day or whatever. So like there's no out external pressure really. It's just if you want to get up and play a little set, and it can be literally anything you want to play. Go for it. If you want to just hang out and drink, go for it. But
and audience vote counts too. So like doing stupid stuff goes a long way.
Yeah, it does. And if anybody knows how to do stupid stuff, it's Fusco. So
absolutely,
I believe him and you, Josh, and Jeremy won that thing a couple years ago, right?
We did. Whatever it was, 3 years ago, maybe, or something.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a piece of it, but the bulk of that to not be missed is Jack Lee will be in town to do a workshop that'll be at a very reduced, if any, cost. I'm not sure what she's worked out on that yet, but and basically the membership of the branch can dictate what Jack's going to teach. So
she's actually asked for
so if people have input please send a message to the Desert Branch Facebook page. I'll get it to Teresa, or we'll get it over to her.
She's also looking for input on drum instruction too, right? They'd like to bring out drum instruction as well, and they're still
unfortunately the drummers tend to get overlooked. I'm not going to pretend like that doesn't happen, because we start setting these things up, and we got this pipe instructor and this piping instructor, and then we go, what about the drummers? We probably should get somebody for the drummers, right? So the tough part is to get a drummer that's willing to kind of take the lead on that and find somebody, lock in a rate, kind of make it happen. So I believe she's working with some folks on that.
She hasn't enlisted Matt Cotini again to
so
take the lead on
Let me
this?
tell you what happened with Matt Cotini. The fact that Matt's still doing stuff for our August workshop is huge. But Matt basically got blown up a couple months ago at an accident at a battery storage facility here in Arizona. Yeah.
I mean, literally blown up.
Yeah, literally. The facility blew up, and he was standing next to it. So
damn, dude, I didn't know
him and his crew. Now, fortunately, they were all wearing appropriate protective equipment, but they all suffered some pretty good injuries. So Matt is healing up. He's doing well, but I think he's pacing himself, so I don't think we need to bother him with that. So.
No, that's fair. Best luck to Matt, of course. He's a good dude. Wish him the best, of course. So we need to find another sucker, apparently.
Yeah, so... and it has to be a sucker that's really into it, and that's where Matt succeeds with stuff, is that he's very type A when it comes to, like, he wants things a certain way, so he will do the work to make it that way, and that's honestly what you need. Like, I can come up, like, there's idea fairies everywhere, like, that's great. Got plenty of ideas. We just need people to actually facilitate those ideas.
If only Len Wood was a drummer.
Right.
We could sucker him into doing it.
Yeah.
He does everything else.
Even Len is at the point of going, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm trying to retire. You guys are killing me here. So,
exactly.
And we keep asking him. We did make Len an honorary firefighter for the state of Arizona too, through our state union, and that's a big deal. Like, we don't do that for a lot of people. There's only a handful of people that have been recognized that way. So for all his services to
saw that. Yeah, that's cool.
To the fire department, he definitely earned that thing for sure.
He got an axe, right? You guys give him an axe.
He got an axe.
That's pretty
very fancy. Yeah, very very nice stuff. So
it's very exciting. But cool. So anything else about Wuspaba that's interesting going on? Besides you retiring as soon as you possibly can?
No, I mean, to be honest with you, the executive committee, as it were, just basically here's, like, if somebody wants an upgrade, they want a solo or bands looking to upgrade, or they have a special rule request or something like that. That's all that I think that's the bulk of what they deal with. And some of them can be pretty easy, and some of them can be a bit lengthy topics of discussion, but...
Do you have any fun stories about being Wuspaba president?
Not at all. Next
nothing you want to talk about? Interesting
question.
Interesting letters? Anything?
Nope.
Oh man! Someday when you retire, I can't wait to get you on record with something.
Yeah, then you can get me, but you ain't getting shit until then. So.
Well, hey man, I appreciate you doing a thankless job that I would never touch. Not even a million years. I think Josh might run for something someday because he's an idiot. But
that's the point. Is that it's easy to sit back and I guess complain about how things are. The tough part is actually stepping up and trying to do something about it.
Correct. Yeah.
The way to do that is obviously to get involved. So volunteer for something, see how it goes, see if you can affect some change. It's not easy, never is, but and then if you hear something or you have an idea, don't hesitate to share it with us. Like, that's, ideas we need, and we need some ways of making them happen versus just complaints,
Sure. Yeah. Well, Channerant's got the complaint part down, so we don't need any more help on that.
Yeah,
we need people.
Have the market cornered on
that. We got to get numbers somehow, right? We just create and talk about controversy.
Right.
What else?
Right.
Talking to people in a serious way, like this friggin' thing is, we're going to have negative numbers after this one. So yeah. Well, yeah, for sure. Like, I actually almost fell asleep myself just talking. So listen, like, that's the best way to market this, is to tell people that, hey, if you're tired, you can't sleep, let's just throw this on. Yeah. If you're a fireman and you're sitting in the chair watching TV and you just need to take a nap before. Here we go. See, I picked up on that. I picked up on that shot, that little hidden shot that you were trying to take at us there, but I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it pass. Hey, man, I can't let this thing go on like this without, busting balls a little bit. Taking a couple shots at your poor sensitive fireman buddy. So So let's see. Let me look at the time. It's, all right, good. So I want to finish up here.
Can I flip the script and ask you some questions here? Like
you can, except I got about 5 minutes, and I got to win and a fail to get in. But you're welcome to. I'll try to be.
I mean, It's only one or two questions, really. I mean,
okay. Oh, here we go.
First one would be, why are you guys such cunts?
You son of a bitch. You see, we just want to represent the people of the pipe band world that aren't represented, and those are the cunts. There's a lot of them out there, apparently.
Damn. I did not expect that answer, but I can appreciate that.
There's a shocking amount of them out there based on the support we receive, and we feel like we're throwing spaghetti against the wall. We landed in cunt zone, and it just seemed to work out. So we just, when you got something that works, we're like dogs with a toy. We just go nuts on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just ride it till the wheels fall off. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's pretty much what we do here.
All right. Well, that was a very well thought out answer, and I appreciate that. Yeah. So, how did we wind up being like still staying buddy? Like, I know we met at a piping school. I met plenty of people at piping schools I don't talk to that much. I mean, I've talked to them when I go to piping school. They go back to their lives. I go back to mine, and when we see each other in a year,
Right.
How did we wind up? I don't remember where.
Well, I think there was a time period where we didn't talk for a while. There was a couple years because we kind of were learning together, sort of similar places, and then there's a period where I didn't go to a pipe school for a long time, and then I would see you at a games now and again. Would say hi or whatever. But then I think really.
Was it Flagstaff?
Flagstaff. We got back in touch because we went to like 2009, 2010, something like that. We went to the pipe school in Flagstaff, and then again we're in the same class. We kind of ended up we were in the same place again. Hopefully better, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, we probably were still shitty.
and then it got then we got pretty tight after that, just because we would see each other every year there, and then. Then I started playing with Phoenix, and then we started having you guys out to Vegas, and just got to know you guys, and it was
right. Okay,
you and Len and all that kind of stuff. And you're a proper asshole. So
I thank you very much. I've worked hard on that. Now I have plenty of practice with that.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun having you out. You do gigs for us out here on occasion. You played the concert with us a couple times. Mm-hmm. You come out for that every year if you're off, just as a body. And
yep.
So I don't know.
All right.
I have no idea why I. Friends with you?
I'm still trying to figure that. Thank you. I was wondering, let's just be honest. You're way cooler than me, so I'm like,
oh, obviously.
And then people when they're like, oh, you know that fucking Fusco? I'm like, nah, I don't know that guy at all. but
hey, we're both pipe band nerds. I think that's really the basis of our friendship is pipe band nerdery.
That traditionalist piece of it too. So, and that's the next piece is, what are your feelings on the traditional versus some of the rock band type pipe music?
Well, I think my opinion is well documented, but generally, I mean, I don't like the rock band stuff so much. I mean, some of it's pretty solid. I just don't dig it. It's kind of like I don't like jazz. It doesn't mean jazz sucks actually, but but like the Chili Pipers and the Wicked Tinkers of the world and that kind of stuff, whatever.
Just not your bag, huh?
Yeah, and I just never really got into it. I don't know why, but the traditional stuff I like. I didn't start off that way. It definitely flipped at some point, but my general philosophy is. That's great for getting people in, but then people still need to learn the right way, quote unquote, the right way. And then they can go back and do that kind of stuff. So I think people like the Pipers or Chili Pipers, are doing that correctly. They're all friggin' insanely good pipers and well established and all that. And then they go on and do this sort of cheeseball stuff, but hey, whatever, it gets people into it. The issue that shows up is when, somebody shows up for a lesson and then they're like, they want to play that stuff, and I'm like, let's learn the fucking scale first, and then we'll maybe some grace notes and something, then we'll figure that out maybe. But it's or to be fair, it's the same thing with Amazing Grace. From you get a service band person that hears Amazing Grace, and that's they're so hyper focused on that, and they can't get over, that or Scotland Brave or whatever tune it is, And then it's, it's difficult. It's very disappointing in the long run, because you're just dealing with so many of people like that when you're trying to fill out a band or develop people into a similar style that you're interested in or playing, it becomes very difficult. So it can be disappointing and soul crushing at times.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I think music in general could be soul crushing. If you're trying to learn any instrument, it could be.
Oh, absolutely is.
At some point.
Super hyper competitive for some reason. Yeah. I don't know why. It just is.
With some of that, is that a good segue for the fail of the week?
Absolutely, it is. I did bother to go through the effort of doing this. So do you have it pulled up? Because if I play it, you're not going to be able to hear it. But I want your comment on it.
I'm going to mute my side here.
Yeah. So I'm going to play it, and once you hear it, you'll hear when they transition from the tune that I told you about into something else. So I just want you to listen to that part. But okay. So for the audience, this is what is this? Bagpipe Band of Scottish University's Mission Institution from Kalimpong, India. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. Cahill, you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
So this is kind of like pulling wings off a fly. This is almost too easy, too obvious, but
I feel like you have to actually see the marching.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna put the link in the show notes so people can see this, because that's definitely a big part of this is the dancing. I don't know. What do you think of this stuff like this? First, I mean, what was that tune? We Will Rock You, right? And then they went into...
It was We Will Rock You, yeah, and then the Skyboat song.
Skyboat song after that,
yeah. I'm gonna default to you and let you tell us what you thought about that, because
I am actually...
Wow is really...
Yeah, it's wow. I mean, it's obviously terrible that we wouldn't be playing it if it wasn't, but I struggle with... Like, first off, look at the guys. They're dressed to the nines, right? They're dressed like a firefighter pants. All right, so, but they look nice, I guess. And they're, I don't know. It sort of falls in line with the Chili Pipers. I mean, it's obviously a terrible version of that, but, like, maybe it draws interest. They're playing We Will Rock You. I bet you people in India like this. I don't know. It's obviously god-awful to our ears, but it's... I don't know. Like, I struggle. Like, is this a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. It's... In the dancing, I mean, this looks like this looks like your average...
I kept seeing one guy take his hand off the scanner and hold his drone stock, one of his drone stocks, and I'm going, is he even playing? Is he fake playing right now?
It looks like it.
Maybe he doesn't like it. Maybe he doesn't like it either.
Yeah, no, I can see it. None of them seem to be wearing earplugs.
I will go on record as saying I do not like it. But I get what you're saying as well. It's like I wouldn't do anything like that, but that don't make it right or wrong.
But tell me, how much would you kill for that many people in your band?
Right. So, yeah.
Look at the size of this fucking band. Like,
yeah. So if you're having that struggle of filling spots, and this is what brings the people in. Like, I get the idea, I can't do it.
I mean, the giveaway is that they're wearing tartan bag covers, so I don't know why everything's got to be tartan, and obviously there's a British influence in India, of course, but, like, what the fuck are they wearing? Like, why are they wearing I guess you can say the same thing about us. I don't know. Yeah, why do we wear it? I don't know. I guess it's the same thing.
Fair enough.
It just seems more ridiculous for some reason. And maybe that's racist to say. I don't know. Is that racist?
Probably.
It seems more ridiculous. Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. Yeah. Maybe because they're not white people, it seems ridiculous. I don't know. I have no idea.
I think you could put any race, color, creed, whatever in that band, and it would still look ridiculous. So
that's a good point. That's a good point.
It's not a race-based issue. It's a ridiculousness issue, I guess.
It's like spats and what is that?
But I will also fall back on if that's what gets people there and does a thing for them, then more power to you. It's not for me.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I'm with you on that. So let's move on, shall we?
Please do.
Please do. So win of the week. Everybody would have heard about this by now, but whether you heard it or not is, if you bothered to click the link and listen to actually what happened, is the Attorney General William Barr was on the news. This is probably 2 weeks ago now, for playing pipes at a session of Congress or something or other. I don't even know what it was, but he brings in the Emerald Society Band of New York City, it looks like, and
police, New York City police,
right. And he jumps in and he goes behind the stage and then pulls out the pipes and plays along with them. And obviously he's theoretically, I've never heard him play solo, obviously, but he's used to playing the City of Washington pipe bands, and they were pretty good. So I'm assuming he's pretty good. But this band they actually sound pretty good. So the win is because this band and him bring positive light to piping, where it's. Normally, we're so used to like this situation, a band striking up and sounding like this India band, and we just all like groan because people are going to think that's what bagpipes sound like. And these guys actually sound pretty good, I think. So
agreed.
Do you have the link? Do you want to listen to it?
Yeah, you did not send me that one.
No, I'll send it to you right now. So hold on, I'll edit this part out, Cahill. Don't worry.
Lies.
Oh, dang. See, I got your bell and everything, people.
Dude, that was fast. Yeah, and then you got a bell. Perfect.
So go ahead, mute yourself, take a listen, and listen to 30 seconds. We don't need to go much past that, but...
Okay. Yeah, I'm back. So I just watched a 30-second commercial.
Oh no. Mine didn't have the commercial. That's interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
So I would tell you that I did hear it before.
Oh, okay.
It sounded good before. So
yeah, I mean, minus the only issue I have is the feather in the caps of the band. But other than that, it sounded pretty good. It's like a nice, positive experience.
Like feathers?
Well, not in my pipe band uniform.
Well, that's you're just a snob.
That's for my weekend night.
For your weekend adventures.
Leather and feathers.
I said particularly nice weather.
Oh, right, yeah. But yeah, no, I thought this was pretty good. A service band, quote unquote, doing something positive. So, and we're all about service bands here at the Chan Area Podcast.
Yeah, you are.
We can't seem to get off that subject for some reason.
Again with the lies.
Again, when you get something that works, you ride it into the ground
until the wheels fall off. Yeah, I understand. I see what you're doing there.
Yeah.
And
but
I respect it.
Hey, you got to give me credit. I'm trying to say nice things here today, a little bit.
I can hear the pain with which you're trying to say these things, and I would say, yeah, they bring a good light on piping to the states here, and like you said, the Attorney General did play at a high level with the City of Washington. So it's just one of those things that is a positive for pipes and drums, really.
Absolutely, yeah. Which we need more of that, I think.
Regardless of political affiliation or any of that stuff, it's just positive. A little positive note on that end of things. So.
Yeah, the liberals out there were still hating on William Barr for sure when this was making its way around the internet. But So
they're
this,
like, well, he sounded pretty good. Guy's a real asshole, but he sounded really good. Yeah.
but this did not bring people together like Trump's latest gaffe, as we discussed.
Oh,
at the beginning
yeah.
of the show.
Yeah,
that's
that
really
was-
bringing people together.
That's my favorite so far. So, yeah.
Anyway, that's our show for today. Cahill, I want to thank you for coming on and helping me kill some time. And
boring your listeners to death, you are welcome. And
Yes.
listeners, you're welcome too.
I think we need to have a vote or whatever online, a poll, like whose show is more boring, ours
Who is
or
more
Andrew
boring?
Douglas. Yeah.
If I can be in any contest competing against Andrew and have a chance of winning, this is the one.
Oh man, don't challenge him. He'll find a way to be even more boring.
So I feel like I did my part. So Andrew, it's back on you.
You did, for God and country.
That's right.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for coming on, and we will see you guys all next week. Josh will be back, I hope, and
God willing.
and next time one of us are out of town, maybe we'll get to know some other guest of the show, regular of the show, like Cahill, and we miss you. A lot of people miss your Cahill's Corners.
I apologize. I've been ridiculously busy between work and some other stuff going on. So I still love yous all, and one day I'll be back.
I can't wait. All right, brother. Well, thanks a lot.
All right, take care.
Later.